Welcome to Yellow Skunk Farms, everybody. Quick disclaimer, this is a 21-year-old and up channel, so if you're not 21 years or older, please leave the channel now. Appreciate it. Check out the Monstera. If you've been following along, you know that it's come a long way. And every day I come in here, it's just that much bigger. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with it when it gets, taken over the hole. I guess we'll just have to start taking cuts and pulling it around, but it's definitely, look at that. And this ain't even the big one. That one back there is even bigger. Won't even fit into the camera view. And then the new one over here. It's definitely loving life. It's got roots in the soil here. You can see them just all going crazy. And then it's got roots going into the pond. So it's got basically a dual root zone going on. It's getting aquatic biology, it's getting terrestrial biology. We got Cooter and Scooter and Pooter over here begging for food. I see you, beggar. You're not scared of the camera no more, I see. There's Plinko down there in the corner. Look how clean his shell is. And there's Scooter. We're using we're using labs to really help clean the pond, help clean the system. If you're new to the system, this is a one pump, pumping water up out of the pond, up into this mountaintop range basically, and it drops down into that grass, and then the creek runs through the bed and on back down into the pond. So the creek is actually the watering system, the irrigation, so to speak, for the bed. This water is wicked up onto the terrestrial side, so it comes up. None of this grass was here at the beginning. It just went crazy. And you can see how green and lush the grass has become, and the reason that is because this water is being wicked up the side of this creek's edge here, and the worms turn that sand and silt into worm castings. Let's look underneath here, and these worm castings are basically wicking water up out. It stays moist all the time. So that water, you can see it comes right on up over the wall. Here's the creek wall. The water's down there. It comes up over the wall. You can see how moist it is. We haven't watered this bed in months, 5-6 months. Just underneath these worm castings here is where all the good stuff is continuing to run through. It stays aerated, stays hydrophobic. That's the trick, is to keep the soil moist, but not make it to where it goes anaerobic. Which is what problem we had in the center here, which is why Droopy had, I think, and Droopy actually turned out pretty good. It smells great. It just went droopy on us, but it seems to have finished faster than the rest. And we still got really good smell. We got the seeds, look great. I mean, they're just about literally falling out. Like you can see the casing is just fell off. Whereas the last couple of days I've had to peel off those casings. Now the casing has dried up and the seed is actually getting ready to start just to fall out. You can see them. Look how seeded it is. And the seeds are getting ready to just fall right the hell out. And that's what it's supposed to do. Look at that. Just fell right off. It's a good looking seed. Nothing wrong with that seed at all. So what we'll do is just drop it right down in there and see what happens. That's what I've been doing, kind of just lining seeds around the edge just for residual, some volunteers to come up. Hopefully when these are gone in about 10 days or so, maybe we get some volunteers to go along with the new ones. We'll see. You never know when they might pop up. They might pop up in flower, you never know. But the creek is looking really good. Got the Chemi Pure bag, a new Chemi Pure bag. We placed this one kind of long way. I don't want to turn it this way and let water hit it. It'll back that water up. Turn it long ways. As long as some water's hitting it and running off. You can also come around this edge. So I thought that was a good spot where water's going to really flush coming down in there strong. Got plenty of shrimp in here. If y'all haven't seen the shrimp, oh, see how fast he was? There's a lot of them in here. They're everywhere. That algae, they love that algae. You can see that. There's shrimp shell. So the shrimp are molting. There's tons of shrimp in there. We've had to pull out a lot of grass through here. The grass was just taking over. Once we did that, a lot of stuff went back to normal. It was backing up, so we don't, once the flow stops or slows up to a crawl, problems are going to occur because the water isn't oxygenated, basically. So if it's not flowing, it's not picking up oxygen. It's not dropping down in areas. It has to flow. So once it hits, it's creating oxygen, flows down into here. If it's slow, as long as it keeps flowing and hitting rocks and maintaining that oxygen that it needs inside that water molecule as it flows through there, if that stops up, anaerobic bacteria can set in. And that is bad news. So we can have water in here. That's a lot of people misunderstand that, this is a high humidity environment. But if the air and the water can mix through the flow, through the aeration, through all the drop points, all of that anaerobic stuff goes away. The air is picked up, held in the water, and then the water is wicked up. It's oxygenated now, basically like a compost tea, a constant fish brew compost tea going. If you understand what I'm saying, this is kind of the same concept. If you're brewing a tea, you're aerating, you're creating oxygen, and when oxygen enters that water along with the compost or whatever you got in there, good things happen. If you can get the right amount of air consistently in the water, you're doing the same thing in the creek system. You're creating a compost tea and aerated, and that now can be naturally wicked up into the soil pockets by the sand and silt and clay that is lining the edge, same stuff that's in the creek, it just comes up over the wall, and we bring it into, we don't mix it into the soil, we layer it. So So we just put a layer across the top, and then the worms do the rest. The worms and the critters and all the biology take over, turning that sand and silt into organic matter. You can see how that it used to look tan like that, and as they work through it, it turns into worm castings, and those worm castings then are run through, like they'll be run through with the roly-polies, and all the critters will be creating oxygen channels. So this the biggest thing is for us not to go pushing down or break or turning this worm casting into mud. We don't want to turn it into mud. You can see the little balls. They're aggregated little balls. And when little balls come together, you stack marbles on top. There are air channels through those. You know, they don't come together perfectly. And those air channels are what we're looking for. And if we can maintain those air channels in that worm casting, along with the worms working through it, the roly-polies, the springtails, the rose beetles, all the biology, everything just gets fat and happy, and the cycle can continue as long as we keep feeding the cycle. You can see we put a half a tomato in there. We also got a little avocado in there. All I'm doing is feeding bacteria. You see the bacteria right there on top, the fungus. The fungus is among us. This is a good, all that is doing is breaking down this tomato. And that's what we want it to do. We want that fungus to break down this tomato. And you can see there are no fungus gnats. Like, I brought fruit in here. It's been in here for multiple days now, and there are no gnats flying around my hand. And the reason is because there's so much biology in and around that fruit that will eat the gnat larva. So if the gnat can't hatch, it can't fly away. So the cycle is disrupted for the gnat. You can see the roly-poly sitting here on top. He's just working. He's doing his job. He's working that avocado peel, and he's breaking it down, and then he's going to poo it out. And over time, that whole avocado peel and all that avocado will go away and be pooed back into the system, and eventually turn into humic acid, fulvic acid, and a whole bunch of other different things. That is chemistry, and I don't worry about the chemistry, mainly because I'm not in charge of that. The biology is. And all I gotta do, my job is to set the stage. Look at that seed. That's gonna be pretty. Set the stage and allow them to do their job. Pretty seed, huh? This one's finishing up. You can see how it's just sucking the life out of those leaves, almost like it's going to die. And that's what we want. We want them to do just that, and this is what we're going to get. We're going to get nice, fat, hard, plump, tiger stripe seeds. Just let them go. And that's what a lot of the breeders have been telling me. Like, this is my first time, so I'm trying to learn from really good people. Like, I got to sit down with Jolly Pond Farms yesterday at February Fire. Awesome dudes. Rob and Micah. Rob got to come by here and check out the grow and check out the seeds, and check out the whole thing, really. But the smell in here, we were looking for particular terps off of this here, and this is seeded with a male of this, and it is, well, we don't know yet, but this is got that funky gas. It's also got the I would say now more caramelish, cotton candy bubble gum with that Afghani funk at the back end. Very terpy, extremely terpy. The Afghani gives it that just funk too. This one over here is pretty close to the same, but I would say it's more of the cotton candy than it is the funk. A little bubble gum, get some orange peel. It's there. It's all there. And then the other one over there is funky too. Got the funky orange peel going. This one's almost, you can see the seeds just busting out of that thing. So I think we got another 10 days. This one here is the same as the, this is the yellow skunk. This is the one, this is the female of the male that we crossed. So this is actually an F2. The seeds that come out of this are F2s, just like those over there and the other one. These are F2s that will be coming out of this. And this is a lemon lime. I call this Mr. Clean almost. Even though Mr. Clean name is already taken, but that's what it smells like. It's got that extreme lemon lime, almost, Rob said, kind of like a Sprite type thing going on, like a, yeah, it's got a weird lemon lime funk. Pretty nice. So I think that's all we got for today. Plinko down there getting huge. Pooter, we fed yesterday, so we don't need to feed today. We feed every other day, maybe every 3 days. They eat everything. I want them to keep the pond clean, and they will keep the pond clean. Pooter will rummage through the rocks and eat all kinds of algae and stuff. Cooter, look, he's getting ready to eat right now. He's looking for a piece of grass. So he'll keep all that dichondra grass from growing all kind of crazy. You see how he keeps it out the pond, and as it grows, he'll pick it off. And it grows fast. So Digger says, "What's up?" He don't like coming out during the day. He's kind of like a night crawler. When I come out here in the early morning, he's usually sitting right there close to that light. This morning, Scooter was sitting up on the rock here. She was sitting like right there on the rock. She had come up on the log onto the rock and was sitting on the rock, and then she just bloop, drove right in. I think she likes the dive, actually. I think she likes to dive in. So, oh, we got a new Monstera too. Can't forget that. We got a gift in the mail. Check that out. This one's like a viney Monstera. Got this from a lady. Her name's Shannon, but I can't remember her Instagram. I don't know if she's on YouTube or not, but we put her on our storyline on Instagram. She's out in Nevada. I think she's in Arizona. I think that's where she said she was at. But what we're going to do is, this is going to be the new Monstera. So this is this is kind of a viney Monstera. She had it going up, kind of very viney. So that's why I left it in the pot. We're going to put it in the new build over here. So you can see we got some new rocks. We just haven't had time to stack them. But we've got, got the pond liner in. Got new rocks. So now all we got to do is basically stack these. And well, what I'm going to do is probably concrete back there. Stack these. Get these in where I want them. concrete where I need the concrete, then remove a layer that we don't concrete in, lay the pond liner in, stack that layer back where we had it, and then concrete the pond liner in, and we'll be ready to start adding sand, silt, and clay that we bring up from the reservoir. And that's the next big thing we have to bring. That's the next big job. We have to go down here on the property and harvest the sand and the silt and the clay and organic matter down from the creek's bed. And we do that simply with a half of a 5-gallon bucket at a time. Is going to have to fill this whole bed. The whole bottom half of this bed will be filled with sand, just like we did over here in the box. So, and also pea gravel. So we bring pea gravel in, fill the pea gravel in with sand, silt, and clay, and start coming on up with that. And that's how we do that. That's over on, you can see the process on Yellow Skunk Pond Gardens. So Yellow Skunk Pond Gardens is the new channel. We're on day 3, we're going into day 4 of construction. And that's how we're going to do it. We're just going to go day by day. I'm not going to put them all together. Maybe we'll put them all together at the end. But this way I can really judge and know how many days I worked on it, for how long I worked on it each day. So each video will be uncut, unedited. I just literally turn it on and turn it off. It'll be turned on, you'll see everything that happens, and then it'll be turned off. That'll be day 1 and day 2, so on and so on. That way I'll be able to tell exactly how long I worked on it, how many days it took. So it should be cool. So I appreciate everybody, Cooter, Scooter, Pooter, and Digger. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We would appreciate a subscribe and maybe a like. That would be cool. And on goes the project. So we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.